Hi guys, it's Ashley from Ashley's Paper Heart, and today I thought we could do a fountain pen collection video. I had a Instagram friend slash pen pal ask me if I could show my fountain pen collection, and I said yes, so that's what we're going to do. This is the first time I've done a collection video, so hopefully I'm not too awkward at it. So two disclaimers at the beginning. One, I'm filming in the middle of the day, so you may hear my kids or, other just background noise. I'll do my best to kind of minimize that in the editing process, but no promises on my skill level for that. Oh, there's my son. So yeah, hopefully that's not too distracting. Real life here, folks. I have two small children. And two, I guess the disclaimer that most people put on hauls or collections is that this is just, it's my decision where I have put my money, and I don't we don't go out to dinner fancy places. I don't buy a lot of clothes or whatever. This is where I feel, most happy is kind of sinking my extra money into stationery things and fountain pens, and that's where my joy comes from. So now that that's out of the way, let's start with, I don't have this extremely organized, but we're gonna try to do this in the most organized fashion. So I'm gonna try to do the lower end pens that I have, and then we'll move on to the high end. So to start with, I have two of these. Oops, just knocked the microphone. I have two of these Lamy Safari pens, and these are the candy color ones. As you can see, this one has ink in it, and it's definitely dried out. The nib is a little messy. Please excuse the state of my pens. I am not the best fountain pen owner. I'm pretty bad at taking good care of them. So my thoughts on the Lamys. They are okay writers, in my opinion. I've had a lot of issues with mine. I guess, I don't know, it feels like the ink dries up really fast on the nib, and they're not the smoothest writing experience. But once you do get the ink flowing, they do write fairly well. One of these, it might be this one, I think is defective. So I have a converter in it, and for some reason, I can only get the converter to fill up about halfway before it just starts leaking out of the nib. And I've taken it apart several times, the whole thing, and put it back together. And I have no idea what's going on with this one. So I typically don't ink this one up unless I'm in dire need of a pen. So yeah, maybe I will end up replacing this one, or maybe I will, see if I can figure out what's wrong with it. But those are my Lamys, and I love blues and purples for pens. Those are kind of my favorite colors, even though I don't use them a lot in paper crafting. So we'll move these to the side. Here we go. So this is one of my Moonman pens. It is a demonstrator, and it has the what is the filling? Is this a piston filling mechanism? I believe it is. I like this one. It is kind of heavy, and I can't write with it posted because the cap is actually quite heavy, and it's a screw cap. The nib is pretty big, and it has a cute little crescent moon on the nib. This is a pretty good writer. I use it in my Hobonichi sometimes, but I will say that it's not a thin line. It's kind of a thicker line, so if you're using it on smaller grid or whatnot, it may not be the best pen for that. But I do enjoy this pen, and it writes fairly wet, and I don't typically have any problems with it. So this is a good alternative for a cheaper pen if you're trying to try out some newer fountain pens to see what you like. Another one that falls under the $20 mark is this New Moon. Yes, New Moon. I don't know the name of the model, but I got this on Amazon, and this one has an extremely fine nib on it. And that is great for, I use this mostly in my Hobonichi weeks. This has kind of been my go-to pen. It's a little bit scratchy on the paper, but the ink flow is always really good out of it, and it's just a pretty pen too. And I really enjoy how thin of a line it makes. So there's that one. This one is kind of a newer addition to my fountain pen lineup. This one was actually a free gift with purchase from Pen Boutique, and that's where I've gotten a lot of my pens. I'll put down in the description box some places that I like to purchase fountain pens from. So this one is a Platinum Profante, I think that's how you pronounce it. Typically I think this is just a $10 pen, and right now I have a cartridge in it because that's what it came with. It is a really smooth writer for a $10 pen. It's very light. The body of the pen is plastic. It's not the it's not the greatest feeling of, the plasticky pen, but it writes really well, and that's what matters. So it was a good free gift. So next, this is my one and only Kaweco Sport. And it will probably be my only one that I have ever. So I got it, of course, because it's in this beautiful lilac color. I have to say I'm not the biggest fan. Sorry, it's got little leather bits on it because it stuck it in my Hobonichi in a pen loop. It's not my favorite pen, I will say that. It's kind of small for me, and it's a little lighter. I prefer a heavier pen. And the ink capacity on it is not super great, obviously, because you have such a short body to the pen. But it is a smooth writer, and I think it's really good for, your kind of day-to-day travel kind of pen, because it's super compact. I mostly got it for the color and to check out to see if I liked this model of Kaweco, and I don't think it's my favorite, but it's not a bad pen. I know there are a lot of people that love the Sports, so okay, so probably by far in my collection what I have the most of are TWSBIs. These are my go-to ride or die everyday pens. This is the pen that I use to journal in my main Hobonichi cousin. And obviously it needs to be inked up again, but they're demonstrator pens. They have a nice weight to them. They're a little larger, which is what I prefer in a pen. The nibs are really nice. The majority of my TWSBI pens are in a fine nib just because they write a little thicker. I do have one that I use for shimmer ink specifically, and I have that in a medium nib. This is my mint green TWSBI in a fine nib, so we'll jump into my little Galen leather. Okay, we're back. That was fun. I guess I had got this stuck in the zippers, but it's fixed now, so yes. I do, like I was saying, I do have a video where I set this up, and I need to edit that and put that up as well, so I will do that soon. So let's move these out of the way. So on this side, I have my, I guess, lower end pens here. So this is another Moonman. I don't know the model off the top of my head. I think it's M8 maybe. I got this from Jet Pens, mostly because of the look. I really like how pretty it is. It's very, I'd say this is a very heavy pen. It's definitely larger. I don't typically write with it posted because it is so heavy. It has a nice nib. I think I got it in a fine. Yeah, I think it's a fine nib. This one is a very dry writer, so if you have a super wet ink, this would do really well in this pen, and I do enjoy this one. Next are more TWSBIs. Oh, you can hear my kids again. Hopefully that's not too distracting. I'll try not to keep referencing it in case you don't hear them. So this is the TWSBI 700R vac. So it's vacuum filled, which is an interesting mechanism. Like you pull this out and then plunge it back in and it sucks up the ink. I do enjoy this pen. It's very, very beautiful. It's a nice writer. So yeah. And again, this was another pen that I got because I love this, like, oh, I don't know what you would call this, like iodized kind of like look to it, like almost like an oil slick. Super pretty. Very like heavy duty, nice weight pen. So next on the list is the TWSBI Diamond 580. And this was actually the second pen that I've ever purchased. This one is the rose gold and the smoke color. Very pretty, very, very good writer. This is one of my favorite pens to use. Then I just have two more TWSBIs, the gray, maybe cement gray maybe, and then the clear demonstrator. So on this side, I have two Kaweco students. So these are like a step above, well, I would say it would be a step above the Kaweco Sport. It writes very smooth once you get it started. It's the pen, the ink does dry out on it if it's inked up and it sits for a while. But once you do get it started, it writes incredibly smooth. And this pen has probably like, it's the perfect weight for me when I'm writing. This one is also the same model, just in a different colorway. I think this is like the retro color. And then I have my beautiful, this is probably one of my favorite pens, if not my favorite pen. And it's a newer purchase. This is the Platinum Century 3776. This pen is probably the smoothest writer I have ever written with, and it like writes like right out of the box. Like it just, it's beautiful. I have had no issues with this pen. It's perfectly weighted. I usually write with it posted. The nib is stunning. I believe it's a gold nib pen, and oh my gosh, if you are in the market for a higher end pen that's not like crazy expensive, I mean, it's expensive, but it's not like, you know, there are pens out there that are like thousands of dollars. This one is closer to the between $200 and $300 mark. This is stunning. Yes, treat yourself if you are looking for a way to treat yourself. So this is my one and only Pelikan pen. It's in their spring green model. This was, I believe, a limited edition. So as you can see, I don't know if you can see in there, it has leaked quite a bit inside, which I do need to clean it. This one I have kind of a love-hate, maybe not hate, hate's a strong word, but it's definitely not love situation. Now I heard so much about the nibs being like so great. When I got this one, I feel like the nib is kind of scratchy. So I want to do something to kind of like knock down the scratchiness. I've heard of people using micro mesh, but then I'm also thinking about taking it to someone to have the nib kind of ground down a little bit. It is a demonstrator pen, I believe. Yeah. And yeah, I don't write with it a lot. This definitely needs a darker, very like wet ink to write smoothly. I wasn't as impressed as I had hoped to be, but I do want to try some other models of these pens, so hopefully I can get that one like fixed so that it's the way I like it. Okay, now we're moving into my sailors. So this was my very first sailor. I got it for Mother's Day a few years ago. Typically for birthdays and holidays, I typically ask for a higher end pen, and that's why I have quite a few of them, because I get them as gifts. This one is just stunning. Uh-oh, it looks like I got some ink right there. Hopefully that will not stain. But yeah, this one is stunning. It's a very, very smooth writer. It's compact. It's just beautiful. Sailors are probably some of my favorite pens that I own. So it's just stunning. So we'll put this to the side. Yes, I do have more, but we're getting to the end. This was a newer purchase of the TWSBI, that I had just got. This is the lilac color, I believe. As you can see, I have a thing for purple pens. It's really pretty. And again, it's in a fine nib. It's reliable. These are my typical everyday pens. I currently have these in the box right now just because I don't have enough space to put them in my case. I need to get a second case. So let's do... So I just got this pen. This is the Platinum, is it Procyon? Procyon? Okay, well, hopefully I pronounced it in a recognizable form. I just got this one yesterday. This was actually a part of my Mother's Day gift for this year. This is a like mid-end pen, just a little bit higher than a low end. I have not inked it up yet, so I don't know how it writes. I love the color, and I wanted to try a few more of the Platinum pens just to see if I liked any of the other ones that were, less expensive. So next I have, let's do this one first. I have this Sailor, which is in the color, I think it's Wicked Witch of the West, and this is another of the 1911S. And I got this one because I absolutely love the color. It's like a dark purpley blue, and then it has the black gold nib plated. Yeah. Obviously, I am like a little like scatterbrained right now. I love this pen. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful writer. Sailors are such just reliable pens, and definitely a treat if you're looking for something to treat yourself with. So I will say for that one, they only recommend, because of the plating on the nib, they only recommend using Sailor brand inks just because they can't be sure how other ink makers' inks will react with the plating. So that's something to keep in mind if you do end up finding that pen. And my newest one, my second part of my Mother's Day gift for this year, is the special edition Blue-Green Nebula Sailor 1911S. And I just got this one yesterday, and I am so excited to use it. I'm going to ink it up today and get it started. So yeah, that's the end. That's the end of my pen collection. So I also will be doing an ink collection. I decided to split them up into 2 videos just because I didn't want this video to be like 40 minutes long, because I have quite a bit of ink, probably more ink than I need. So I will do that one shortly, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and comment, subscribe. And I would love to hear about what your favorite fountain pens are. I am such a fountain pen nerd, as you can see. I'm a little bit of a collector. So I would love to hear what you use to write with in your journals or in your letters or whatever. So I will see you next time. Bye.